Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Me Being Live and Bored. As always, I am happy to answer any questions. Today, I thought I would choose a topic as I realized a lot of these lives typically go nowhere in terms of having a set topic, but I kind of want to talk about the current state of careers, as it seems like people are all over the place. And I think everyone is in this weird state of like, I want to quit my job and I hate my life. Obviously expedited by COVID, but I think people have always had those thoughts. So that's something I want to talk about unless there are questions. But as always, happy to answer any questions pertaining to banking, careers, life, relationships, humanity as a whole. But today I'm trying to focus on careers, largely because I've had a lot of friends and people around me say a lot of like, why are we living life anymore? What is this new normal going to be? And I've seen numbers like highest job transition rate in American history and people switching jobs. And I don't know if that's a result of people realizing that they have passions or they falsely think that they have passions. Juxtaposed probably with the fact that it's so easy to interview nowadays and go behind employer backs to network and go on Zoom calls with people and interview while work time. I know a lot of my peers have done that. I've definitely done that when I was transitioning jobs. And I think we're in this weird state of everyone trying to be not woke, but everyone feeling like there is something that they are doing well / they could do better than before. But here we go. Let's answer some questions. Joshua Cohen asks, Brian Daddy Chill, hello. LFG boys. Zuhair asks, Brian, do you think IB is going to get better once it's back in person? I think so. I think it's getting better in the sense that I actually really enjoyed banking in person with the in-person things. So what I mean by that is I think banking is one of those things that benefits a lot from camaraderie and just kind of doing the crappy things together. And that's something that not everyone can enjoy. Everyone has the privilege of enjoying, obviously, with work from home. And I think when I first started banking, especially during the summer internship, I loved it because we were late night grinding together across the cubicle. And that's something that we just don't have right now. Hi, Brian. Hey. Yo, Brian, I know you just started the stream, but I can't stay for long. I am currently in high school and I want to study in business and get my MBA. I want to work in private equity or investment banking, watching your videos. Can't tell you think if it's worth it or no. And one of you said it's great. One of the other, you said it's regretful. Should I do it? Oh, okay. So I want to clear something up. I think I was trying to be funny and say that all things have dual sides to them and saying there's things that I regret and things I don't. I'd be surprised if people in this world are not both regretful and unregretful of things in their life. I don't think any decision in life is perfect. I was surprised at the response that I got from those videos saying like, oh, you're misleading people. I was just saying that there are aspects of banking that I regret and there are aspects that I don't. It's LASIF. Just to reply to you, if you're in high school, I don't think you should be thinking about MBAs. MBAs are a lot for people that have had previous careers and they want to transition into a different role. You don't know if you want to get an MBA or not. You don't know if you want to be a banker or not. You definitely don't know if you want to do private equity or not. Depending on what college you go to, just consider the options that are available and figure out what you're good at. I think it's easy to get lost in these personalities online, including myself, that portray jobs a certain way, but that might not be the case for you. I have friends that I think love banking for what it is. Obviously, there are crappy moments, but I think they will stick it through. They'll stick through it till the end. And there's those that just it's simply not for them. And these people are older than me, people that are way in their careers that are thinking about these things. If you are 16 and you're in high school, there's no way you know what you want to do unless you are, I don't know, like 7'4" and going to be a basketball player. Even then, you don't know what you want to do. So my advice is relax and enjoy life. Zuhair asks, how's the startup going? Startup's going well. There's a lot of work, but it's fun. Great entry-level jobs. Video coming out on that on Saturday. I wouldn't say it's about entry-level jobs, but I talk about finance jobs that I'm getting a lot of questions about people saying, oh, like what's a finance job that's not banking? That also pays a lot, but has that good work-life balance. Long story short, that doesn't exist because if that existed, I would be doing that job. But there are a fair number of entry jobs that I think do well in life and start you off well. But I hope to cover that on Saturday's video. Teddy Lockhart asks, Brian, how many network calls did you do from freshman year to senior year for IB recruiting? How many emails did you send? I haven't thought about that in a while. Did 0 at freshman year. I think sophomore year, like during the year, probably not many. Sophomore year, summer. So the summer after my sophomore year. Before my junior year, probably like 15. And emails, double that, so like 30. Joe says, Daddy, chill. I will try. LeBum James says, have you ever been yelled at on the job? I don't think so. Not in what you imagine as yelled at. I've definitely been like scorned in the sense of like, you should do this better, but I've never been like rudely yelled at. For those of you just joining, I set a topic for today. I want to talk about like where careers in this world are headed right now. But I'm also going through the questions today. As always, if you guys are interested in asking me a question, please go ahead and drop a comment in the chat on the side. The only self-promotion I will do for today is go check out brianjun.com for some blog posts and thoughts that I think I reluctantly don't share on this platform because I think I almost do better on text, maybe. Hey, Brian, thanks so much for your interview advice. You helped me secure a full-time role at a bulge bracket. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I wanted to know if there are any what not to do to enter the position. First impressions matter. Try your best to set a strong first impression, but also don't be nervous. A job is a job, and I think bankers especially can smell inconfidence, so try to be confident. Yo, Brian, nice haircut. Can you tell us about it? I don't know what to tell you about my haircut. I just felt that the summer was coming. Things are reopening. I kind of didn't like the bushy hair that made my head look bigger than it already is, so I asked to cut it on the side and keep the growing out. I don't know if I entirely like it. I kind of get like a douchey vibe from it, but time to embrace the youth while I have it. I was recently offered transfer to Northeastern. Does Northeastern have a good reputation in the IB? I am not sure, Travis. I know that Northeastern has a lot of co-op programs and like 2+3, 3+4 = 7 programs with pharmacy and physician's assistants and comp sci stuff. Not sure about on an IB perspective. Caleb Fox asks, how to approach IB recruiting when you are former Big Four auditor and have a lot of technical accounting experience? Caleb, I'm sorry to have this cop-out answer, but I have a video on that exact topic. So go check that out. Hopping on this question, how can I spin my B4 FDD experience for IB? Also, how valued is CDD, ODD experience? I'm guessing DD is due diligence. I don't know what the C and O stand for. Chris, I think you're following up on the Big Four question. I have a video on it, and that's the extent that I know. So go check it out. Do you think speaking a second language helps with finding jobs? I think so. I think we're in a very global world. I also think that being global is definitely exaggerated in this world. I think it's like this like hype that people are like, the world is global now. It is to a certain degree, but I think there's still a long ways to go. I've never had my Korean bilingualness help me in a job, but I would assume for depends on the job, but I would assume it helps rather than hurts. Hey, Brian, hope you're chilling. I am chilling. I'm an ops analyst and was wondering the possible career paths in high finance that I could transition to for more fun, for more money and fun. I don't know anyone that's transferred from ops into finance, unfortunately, but I would assume if you study the right financial stuff, the same Excel skills, the Google Sheets skills, the professionalism will transition somehow. So I would just keep searching. Wow, finally caught you live. Yes. Brian, be honest. How many girls did you talk to in college? I was in a long distance relationship all throughout college. So if you mean by talk as in like the winky talk, 0. Hair looks silky. Yeah, I would not describe my hair as silky. I kind of like tough hair, but thank you. I'll take it as a compliment. RJK says, consulting. How does this role fit into the topic today? Any insights on consulting and how it might change in the near future? I know there's a lot more data-driven approach now. Yeah, I think data science is huge right now in any industry. Definitely consulting. I would assume that they're reassessing the need for travel, as consulting firms did perfectly fine over COVID without traveling. But I'm not really sure what that's going to entail in terms of how the industry changes. I frankly don't have consulting experience, and most of my peers in consulting, I think, have either moved on or I'm not in career conversations with them. That's an interesting question, though. I think consulting will definitely be influenced in terms of a traveling standpoint. Did you get any time, date, did you get any time date anyone during banking college years? I assume you mean, did you get time to date anyone? So I was in a long-term relationship in college, long distance, so I did not date anyone other than my significant other at the time. During banking, I definitely did not date anyone. I am single. Evening, Brian. Gyoza, evening. I'm an econ major who wants the money, but also wants to balance a family, social life. What do you think of human resources as a career? What other career recs do you have? I think everyone wants work-life balance, but also a lot of money. That's a very hard thing to have, I think, in the sense that I think people that want that are also very in need / desire of high income. And there's a reason why people get paid a lot to do things. It's either because they do things that no one else could, or they do things that require a lot of time and effort, or both. I don't know if HR is necessarily a high income field unless you're the top. I think HR tends to get a bad look, but I think if you are interested in that kind of stuff, and I think human resources, soft skills are always a necessary angel. I don't want to say necessary evil because it's definitely not evil. Look into it, but I don't know if high comp is necessarily associated with HR. Have you heard about Goldman Sachs investing in a Black woman? What do you think about diversity in banking? I don't know. I'm sure Goldman is with any other big bank, any other big company has some kind of diversity programs. My stance on this is pretty firm. It's always been diversity in banking. I think that people should be hired based on who they are and their achievements, not the color of their skin. I understand why banks do diversity programs, because if they don't, they get called out for it. And every other bank, every other company has diversity programs. But I don't know if forced quota filling, in the sense that I think there are some diversity programs that force people into programs just to hit numbers and say that, oh, we're doing diversity efforts. I don't know who that's really helping. I wouldn't say I'm against diversity programs in the sense that there are those that need help in jumping the barrier. But I've also seen a lot of people that didn't really need the help, that went to elite schools, that came from very prestigious backgrounds, and they ended up using the diversity program as a very easy way into companies. And I wish there were studies shown on how much income mobility for students that deserved it that diversity programs in banking allows for. I'd be very interested to see those numbers. What's your favorite snack when you're out in public? I don't really snack, LeBum. I'm not a snacker. I've been eating string cheese a lot, because I've been doing like this macro counting thing that my friend's suggesting. I feel great. I think I look okay from it. String cheese, but I don't really snack. I don't like chips. I don't really do sweets a lot. For those of you joining out, I am just answering questions as always. I wanted to talk about careers and what the world is becoming right now, because I'm seeing a lot of similar trends around me and online. But let me get to the bottom of these questions, and maybe I'll go off on my soliloquy. Thoughts on Masters of Finance degrees. I have only one friend who's gotten a Masters of Finance, and he was not able to break into banking. If that's what you're considering, I would recommend an MBA if banking is your end goal. Are you buying a place in Chi-Town? Jake, I am kind of looking into it. I'm definitely looking for buying property right now. I know that at the end of the day, I'm probably going to be back in Southern California, and my job currently is in LA that I'm working remotely. So I'll most likely buy a place in Southern California, but I also understand that Chicago is one of the few cities that during Corona did not go up in pricing. And I think that's a good buying opportunity. But Chicago as a whole has also not been going up in pricing. So I don't know if it's a good investment to have. It's also going to be kind of annoying to take care of it while I'm not here anymore. But we shall see. Have you ever lost friends because of your political views? No, I think most of my friends are opposing political views in comparison to me. And I think I really respect and am grateful for the fact that most, if not all, my friends are, by definition, the true definition of open-mindedness, not the falsified open-mindedness that's out in society right now, but genuinely open-minded and very understanding of where my views come from. And I think it comes from the fact that we're all very overthinkers, and we always constantly question our thoughts, and we have good backing as to why we believe the things that we are. So no, I've never lost people because of their political views. What's dating for Asian IB bros? I am not an IB person now, and I don't like justifying dating in terms of race. But if you're just asking for race as a whole, dating as a whole, dating is okay. I mean, I'm not like a master dater. That I need to be careful with that pronunciation. But I I haven't really seriously dated in a while. Damn, I need to sleep. Bye, guys. Thanks, Brian. Good night, Alex. Tallest girl you've ever dated? Be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'll be very honest. The only girl I've technically dated was the same height as me, so or similar, right? 5'9", 5'10". How many hours did you work in IB, and what was the range of your salary? Work in IB, I worked probably an average of lowest end of like 65, 70 to highest end of like 95 hours. Range of your salary, there was no range. I started at 85 and then it became 90K. What's with all these dating related questions, Lamau? I love the dating related questions. I wish I could answer more what should I get a master's in finance question. I think there's only a set number of answers those kind of questions can have, but ask away. I did not realize there were so many questions. How many hours a week did you work on average? I think I just answered that question. Housing bubble might pop end of this year or next year from what I heard, so be careful with properties, Brian. Yeah, I know. I'm still saving up. I'm waiting around. I'm in no rush to buy property. I'm probably going to live alongside my parents when I move back to California a little bit to save a bit of money. I think there's a big, of course, I'm forgetting the word. What's the word when you get kicked out of your house for not being able to pay rent? But anyways, I know that they're preventing that for now because of COVID. And then once that law becomes revoked, I think there's going to be some level of an uproar. I don't know what form it'll take, but one thing is most housing right now is being bought by cash buyers. So I don't envision a bubble per se, but I'm sure something will pop. Thoughts on the recent updates on COVID and Fauci's link to reversing ban on gain of function research and links of him funding Peter? Yeah, T.R. Swag asking good, interesting question. I haven't followed the whole Dr. Fauci thing. Are we surprised? I mean, like, I think it's a whole mix of things. I think when it first came, everyone was like, holy crap, what's going on? Obviously, COVID is real. People were dying and it was spreading like crazy. But was it used politically? 100%. And there were so many people to benefit from this being a big thing and for people to be controlled to a certain degree. Since when in history have we shut down because the government told us to shut down and put on masks involuntarily and had this mass hoarding of vaccines all of a sudden? I think there's a lot of questionable things that we, in this chaotic havoc state, kind of did not question. And all of a sudden now we're like, hey, maybe there's something to this one guy that told us exactly what to do and said we should probably put on masks even post-vaccine. I think it's fascinating that no one's talking about that. There's been many articles a couple of months ago when the vaccines were first being rolled out that Dr. Fauci said, hey, we're going to have to wear masks post-vaccines anyways. And as of today, it seems like every major city has announced if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask. And where's that direction coming from? And no one seems to be talking about any of the controversies that big name governors and such that were such big wild advocates of control through COVID has been talking about. It seems like no one's really talking about Gavin Newsom being repealed and having birthday parties during COVID anymore. No one's talking about Andrew Cuomo being accused of sexual assault anymore. And now they're just being celebrated for bringing the states back at very convenient times. I think that's a really, I'm very curious how, I'm not surprised, but also it's interesting how easily and quickly people forget and become thankful of things that were a basic right a year and a half ago. Thoughts on West Coast targets? I think the only West Coast target I know is Berkeley and USC. Oh, and Stanford, obviously. Lamau, master's degree. What's your degree? I have a bachelor's in accounting and business administration. Thanks, Brian. See you next week. See you next week. Did you quit IB? What do you do now? Yeah, I quit IB in January of 2021, so 4 or 5 months ago, and I work for a startup now. Favorite NBA team? I would say Liz Lakers, a cop-out answer. I followed the Lakers heavily in 2010 with like Lamar Odom and Luke Walton, like that Lakers with Sasha Vujic and Derek Fisher, the fun Lakers Celtics days. Oh, he wants dating questions. Evicted. Yes. Thanks, guys. Evicted. What do you usually do on a daily basis at IB? It seems like no one ever gives a straight answer. My first ever video, Talal, covers that exactly to the point. What we literally do in investment banking. Go check that out. Tips for making most of the college experience. I'm attending your alma mater, so I'm very curious to hear your opinion. P. Collins, enjoy it. Enjoy it. When you don't lay on your bed, go on YouTube. Don't just anytime you have free time, go to the library, go to the common grounds, go out to go party, go meet people. There will never be a time where you have such a tight community at your disposal, footsteps away. Consulting versus IBD. Honestly, now maybe consulting if you're not looking into being in finance long term. I think consulting has much better exit opportunities in terms of broad exit opportunities. For those of you joining, I wanted to talk about careers in case no one really was really joining, and I was just going to go off my spree. But now we're talking about anything from Anthony Fauci to dating. So any question is more than welcome. Former Morgan Stanley. Malcolm James. It was China. I don't know about. Well, it did come out of Wuhan, but I would be careful. I'm not sure where the origins are, but I think there's definitely more to be uncovered. But I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. Former Morgan Stanley CEO John Mack said navigating through the near bankruptcy was something he would rather be doing than kicking his feet back in North Carolina. Thoughts on his level of passion? I don't think I have that level of passion. I do have a level of passion for non-work-related things, but I'm trying to figure that out. CDC found that you don't need to. Do you think the U.S. is overpopulated? How do you envision being? Ooh, that's a great question. Overpopulation. I think a lot of people always point to all these problems, and people have been crying wolf on problems. There's always a bubble coming, always an issue coming, blah, 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 blah. Most people recover. And I think that there's so much benefit to have had with the press and people saying that there is something coming and there's an issue coming. I don't know very detailedly about overpopulation, but I wonder if that's an actual problem. I'm always a skeptic in terms of when people say, this is a problem, some statistics, some study said blank. I'm sure that there are truth behind those studies, but a lot of times you gotta fact check those things and wonder what was the reason behind this study. Why was this study conducted and who was the study conducted on behalf of? Are you vaxxed? Correct. You know how those websites give career prospect projections for the future? What are the top 3 business related careers that you think will grow in the next few years? I think in terms of business specific, I would say ops and strategy. I know that Google, for example, didn't really have an ops and strategy team, and they were very heavily on product and sales. And now they're realizing they need people to run the business side. I think that's a big industry. I think those jobs that require soft skills, because there's been a heavy shift towards hard skills in this generation. There's always a lack when there is a shift towards one direction. There's a lack in the other. Are you from California? Yes, I am from Southern California. LeBum, we have a population shortage. That also might be true. What's your type? I am AB positive. What are your pet peeves? I don't like people that aren't punctual. I am very big on being on time. People that are bad with planning, like logistical planning for schedules and hanging out. People that lack communication when we're planning hanging out. I also don't like people when they don't admit they're wrong. Especially when they argue really hard that they were correct and then they never admit that they're wrong. I almost expect an apology when someone is wrong, and they've argued so much against me. But so is life. Is investment banking worth the salary considering the number of hours you're working? Doesn't seem like worth it per hour, but what do you think? I think that's to each their own, Joshua. I think you're asking a lot of questions that are very case by case, and I don't think I'm the one to answer that for you. But there's also not many jobs that allow you to work that many hours, even if the hourly is higher. Should I get an MBA at try breaking into IB? Yeah, MBA is a great route towards IB if that's what you're asking. Thoughts on global corporate tax rate, digital tax affecting big tech? I don't think I'm well versed in that, but I'm a proponent of lower taxes. What are your thoughts on the current housing market? I think it's inflated. There is so many individuals trying to buy houses. There's a shortage of sales because everyone's holding on and thinking that housing prices will rise, which they are. People have a lot of cash right now because whether it be stock, Tesla, Dogecoin, whatever. And I think everyone's it's a post-08 thing. They realized from 08 they've been saving. They knew that mortgages weren't the way to go. So people are saving a lot of cash. Now they're buying houses. I think COVID had a lot of people move to suburbs and realize that a home is an important place to be. Rent is a waste of money if you're not buying equity. There's a lot of things. On one end, I think there might be a bubble, but on the other end, I think it just might keep going up from here. Should I go into finance without being very good at math? Yes, math does not matter in finance, in my opinion, unless you're going to like quant trading. You can use Excel and a calculator. No. Malcolm, I don't know what you're replying to, but sure. A little AB positive. Yes, that is my blood type. Do you watch any YouTubers in your free time? Free time. I got to hustle. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I love YouTube. Who do I watch? I watch Logan Paul a lot. As controversial as he is, I'm a fan. When he was active, I watched Ryan Higa a lot. Other than that, I don't watch any set YouTubers. I watch a lot of like political stuff, scientific stuff, just like random videos here and there. Floyd versus Mayweather. Isn't Floyd Mayweather the same person? I would assume you're asking Paul versus Mayweather. I mean, I think they already fought, and I would assume Mayweather would have won, but I'm a Logan Paul fan. Thoughts on BD and big tech like Google, LinkedIn? Is that business development, like account executive? Sure. I think sales is an interesting role. I don't know. Like sales is just something I never understand. I think I'd be good at sales, but I don't know like how you prove to be a good salesperson. And I know that quotas are a pain in the butt. I mean, type of girl, haha. Yeah, I know. I don't think I have a type per se. I think if I had to choose between like, I'm not into older women. I would prefer someone of my age or younger. I think being smart is important. I'm a big conversation person, so if you have nothing to contribute to the conversation, I think that's a pretty hard no. You have to be a foodie. I love enjoying food. I would argue like 80% of our dates will be revolving around food. Yeah, I think those are probably like the more generic, non-looks based stuff. Height doesn't really matter. What are important aspects that you believe are important than salary when it comes to a job? Honestly, not much. I don't really believe in the whole like you need to pursue a job that's like gives you passion and motivation. There's not many jobs out there that does that. I think salary is probably the most important. And upward mobility. My man really said AB positive to a dating question. Nice little dodge, huh? I'm curious about your thoughts on your topic today. Yeah, I know. I wanted to talk about that, but I also want to address all these questions. I think I'm almost there, and then I'll start diving into the topics a little bit. I also lean slightly conservative, but I'm afraid to come out to my mostly liberal friends. How did you open up your beliefs with your friends? I didn't really come out. I've always been conservative. I've been always very open about my views. I think, as I said before, all my friends are very smart intellectuals that are very good at having conversations. They're genuinely open-minded, not fake open-minded. And I understand where they're coming from. We argue a lot because I think we care about each other and we want the other person to understand where we're coming from and somewhat convince them, because if you care about someone, you probably want them to believe what you want to believe in. But we agree to disagree. And there are things that they convince me of and there are things I convince them of. While you're so brave saying you're a Logan Paul fan, the fact that we live in a society where coming out as a Logan Paul fan is being brave scares me. And I hope that we don't continue down this path. What's your opinion on Martin Shkreli? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Do you think it's possible from a person from Colombia to get a job in investment banking on Wall Street? Sure. I don't know any personal examples, but I'm sure it's possible. Sales never do it. Yeah, I don't know anything about sales, but sure. What was the most weird, awkward interview question you were asked and the weird, most awkward answer you've given? I'm pretty good in an interview setting. I don't think I've ever given an awkward answer. The coolest question I've ever gotten was, if this interview depended on me beating you at a competition, what would it be? And I answered it by saying hula hooping, because I am a hula hooping god. I think friends that end their friendships with you due to their leaning slightly to the other side aren't real friends at all. Sure, I think that's the type of people that I don't want to associate with. I strongly believe in the ability to have conversations, and I think most people that I've had political or religious worldview conversations with that I deem to be high quality people, I've never had a conflict where, even if it was a very hardcore topic, it's never become like I hate you for that topic. People are willing to have a conversation if you're willing to have it. Brian, fighting. Sub H, is that someone I know? Is it Subin? Chef Hong? Who's the smartest, most naturally talented person you ever, whether it's from a job, school, etc.? Myself. I'm just kidding. The smartest, most not. That's a hard question. I've known a lot of smart people in my life, natural talent people in my life. I've talked about this in my last live stream. I would say I have a friend who was in my fraternity before, Hank Patrick, probably the smartest person I know, 4.0 during college. He's in med school now. Very just naturally brilliant. I mean, I don't want to give too many names, but a lot of smart, naturally talented people in my life. Would you say that having CFA level 1 increases my options to get there? I'm very neutral about CFAs. I've seen people have it, people don't, but I don't think CFAs get you the job in banking. Lowell himself, the confidence. I'm just kidding. Any tips for negotiating raise after 1 year? Oh yeah, I would, especially after a year, maybe even after 6 months. I would say, hey, these are the things that I'm doing for the company, and I think I deserve a bit more. And maybe go in with something up your sleeve and say like, hey, like I'm considering other options, but I really like to stay here. I think people don't realize how much negotiating power they have because companies, it takes a lot of money and time for them to hire someone else. Thoughts? I'm in investment banking internship right now remotely. What advice would you give to secure the return offer? Just do your best in terms of communicating and letting people know that you are doing your best and doing your work. I think over communication in remote work is the most important. Josh Young asked thoughts on Ziegler. Josh, I'm sorry, I don't know what Ziegler is. Sue H asks, what is your general outlook on the APAC banking career compared to US or even Europe? APAC banking career, I don't know much about APAC banking. I do know that like venture capital and a lot of buy-side opportunities are popping up in like Singapore and maybe China. But in terms of banking, I would still say the United States is the top. You can't be Wall Street. You got tall ceilings. You clearly living good, Sersky. What do your parents do for a living? That's an interesting question. I pay rent for myself in this place. I'm in Chicago. And I think what my parents do for a living is their privacy. But now that I've talked to the questions, and I'll still answer the questions as they flow in. But the thing I want to talk about today is where our career is headed. I think I made a blog post about this, but I think, and I hope you guys can attest to this too, but everyone around us, whether it be our colleagues or our friends, people in different industries, I've been hearing a lot of like, I want to find my passion. And I think my job doesn't make my heart beat fast. And COVID's made me realize that I am more than being an accountant or a banker. And a lot of my friends are saying, I want to go into farming, or I want to go become a professional YouTuber. I want to pursue being a stand-up comedian. I want to become a cook. And I wonder if this is a phase or if people are truly awakening up and realizing perhaps that their desk jobs is an endless means to nothing. And perhaps that our life is too short. And it scares me because pursuing a passion might be clouded by the vision and this false understanding that what we're pursuing is passionate versus abstract. And I think we think a lot of times that these cool jobs that aren't your traditional 9-to-5s on a desk are cool because they are the traditional, and it's people that really are talented in them or passionate in them that pursue them. But on the other side, I think people that are willing to make that risk are those that end up doing these things in a cool way. So perhaps we're headed towards the right direction, but not everyone in the world can become YouTubers. Everyone in the world pursue their side passions as their main hustles because the world needs to exist somehow through infrastructure. And it is troubling that places like McDonald's are struggling to find employees. Uber is not having drivers anymore because everyone is pursuing their real careers, real passions, or living off unemployment checks and Biden bucks, which is also very unfortunate. We'll see, but I think there are a lot of concerns to be had. Thoughts on media covering BlackRock buying real estate and the future of the real estate market? I guess I've been really away from finance news because I didn't even know BlackRock and the whole real estate market. But I talked a little bit about this earlier to here, Swag, but I think the future of the real estate market is quite uncertain. I don't know anything about it. I do think that there is a less of a mortgage bought section and a lot of housing purchases done through cash. So there's less of a fear for a bubble, but there is evictions probably coming up soon. And I think a lot of people want to buy and not many people want to sell. And we're going to keep going up and up and up in pricing. And obviously not everyone can afford $1 million housing. So we'll see. But as with many similar patterns globally, as wages rise and taxes go up and similar trends occur, it will ultimately just be richer people being able to afford houses and middle income people struggling to buy houses. And I guess that's a bit of my political color, but we'll see what happens. What if you have no passion? I think that's fine. I think this society, this culture is forcing us to feel bad if we don't have a passion, if we don't have a dying urge to chase something. And it's this toxic mentality of like, we're special and we're meant to do something in a passionate way. It is very possible that you're not very passionate about something and you just, work a 9-to-5 and you retire and live happily that way. I think there's this dying homework assignment in the back of our mind to pursue and find something that possibly might not exist. When you vet first passion, Lamau, nah. Rose, I'm not sure what you mean, but sure. Do people really need to be passionate about a job? No, I don't think so at all. I start university this year. What would be your tips for first year to help get into banking? Maybe start networking, looking around in banks. Think about where you want to be location-wise and what kind of banking you want to do. But make sure you want to do banking because freshman year is pretty early. I just noticed, but that is a weird-ass mic. I've never seen one of those before. Yeah, it's a Snowball. I probably need to get a better one because I don't think this is that good. Cold emails, my friend. Lots of them. We got an expert here. Rose, answer my finance questions for me. Would you ever get into politics? You seem to have strong political beliefs. Yeah, I would love to get into politics, but I am not an American born, so I can't run for president. Not that I don't think I'd make a good president, but yeah, I think when I was young, I considered politics a lot. I love politics, but I also know that it requires a lot of money, and I'm scared to be corrupted. So we'll see. I'd love to get into like political commentary. I'm preparing to launch a podcast that may talk more about political things and non-banking things, but we shall see. I don't know if you made a video on this, but does your job as a startup pay more or less compared to your IB days? Full comp, including stock, is probably similar, but definitely no cash bonus. Did you study for the high school ACT programs with programs and books, or were you one of those naturally talented individuals who had a great score with little to no studying? I took a lot of practice tests, so I took my first practice test, got a 31, took one real one, got a 33, and then did like 3 or 4 practice tests to prep, and then got a 35. If you think most bankers are truly passionate about it, I don't think so. Yep, I don't think so at all. I don't think most bankers are passionate at all. Let's see. Well, I want to move out to hedge funds once I can. I'm really into equities and trading, so I'd be looking to do sales trading, ideally JPM. Yeah, I heard sales and trading is often a dead end, so be careful with that. Equity trading, hedge funds are obviously cool for very brilliant people. Make sure you run your own portfolio and then think about the public markets as a whole, because that's definitely what they're looking for. Let's see here. Any tips on combating a constant feeling of anxiety in regards to assignments for your tests? Yes, that is the biggest issue at hand. There's always more to do. I think it's a good quality to have. I think most successful people probably have that quality, and that's what gets them to keep going. I would just address internally the fact that the feelings exist, kind of like a meditating thing, and then realize that it's just one of those things that will never go away if you're a success-driven person, and it's okay to have those feelings. Also, this is in London. Yeah, I don't know much about the European hedge fund market. Favorite political commentator? That's a hard question without being controversial, because everything you say now is a fearful. I actually like people all over the place, but how do I stay neutral? I don't really follow any one person, but I'll give one of each. On the left, I like Ezra Klein. On the right, I like Ben Shapiro. Your first year in uni bus, probs not rocking an internship at JPM freshman year unless you're connected out the R's. Sure. Of course not. I meant more on tips for now, which may help when it comes when to I can do internships. Yes. I'm not sure what that means, but that sounds good. But yes, back to what I was saying about careers. I think to people's point in the chat, I think we have this innate drive to become passionate about something, and I think there are many people out there that probably feel like they're not pursuing enough and they're not passionate about things, and they're at their desk job wondering, like, what is my passion? Why is it that I don't have a passion? Why is it that people have these artistic side projects and they're photographers on the side, or cooking and having a cooking channel? I think a forced need to find passion is by definition wrong. You can't be forcefully passionate about something. You're passionate because you're passionate about it naturally. And that's a big fear of mine, that I think this generation of people with their innate drive to feel special is they're pursuing things that may not exist, to people's point in the chat. But I think we'll come to a breaking point where people are overwhelmed by this need, and hopefully it doesn't break society. If you were to go back, would you start working in a startup out of college or still do IB? Definitely start IB. I think there's so many skills that I talk about that I gained from IB that I would not have been able to get anywhere else, especially in an expedited 1.5 year time. And I always thank the opportunity that God and the company has given me for IB. What are your current pursuits? Great question, Alex. I think I am obviously trying to become the best employee at my company to the best of my ability. I'm trying to take this channel somewhere and have fun with it. I love making content and talking. I am working on a podcast alongside a friend to talk more about things I actually want to talk about in a more open setting. I think I'm more suitable for a podcast, having guests and producing content that way. Me and a couple friends are working on developing a fund together to serve as an investment vehicle. And I'm also working on some creative stuff alongside my friends in Southern California, more on the entertainment side. But stay tuned for those things. Just out of curiosity, what sector were you in, Brian? M&A at business services and tech. Were you top 10, 20 in terms of class ranking in high school? I think so. I got a little band thing. I think that was like top 10, top 20. Hirusha asks, as a business major, do you think there are any good exit ops outside of finance, or do you think once you're in IB, you're forced into a route down finance? No, I don't think so at all. I think banking opens a lot of doors. If you go on LinkedIn, a lot of like tech-based jobs now, even data jobs and ops jobs, strategy jobs, sales jobs, they have like required 2 to 3 years in consulting, banking, or similar background. I think banking is synonymous to hardcore training, career experience. So I wouldn't let your major set you aside. And there's a lot of business-oriented jobs now that I think require, perhaps not a business major specifically, but business eloquence. What was your application process like for your current job? There was a direct LinkedIn reach out. Then there was I think there was an application process. It was just they looked at my LinkedIn and they asked for a resume, and then it just went from there. Was it industry agnostic? No. It's business services and tech. Brian, are you in the Backstreet Boys or no? I think I'm in the Front Street Boys, Richie. Dude, being in a boy group would be awesome. But I think I am frankly not a pretty boy enough, and my singing skills are definitely not there for the Backstreet Boys. But maybe in like a B class Backstreet Boys, the C-Street Boys, BTS. I'll be CTS, C class, C BTS. But a big BTS fan though. I think their music recently have actually been pretty good. Just use autotune. Actually, I have a friend who I'm working with closely that does music and sound engineering, and he put me through autotune, and we like made the song in like 15 minutes. And it's crazy, guys, what autotune can do. Like you can make anyone sound like a real singer, anyone sound like a real rapper, as long as you have some level of beat and tone. Autotune works its magic. Siobhan says, "You're pretty, lol." Thank you, Siobhan. I respect that and I appreciate that. I don't think I'm pretty. I like how I look. I'm a very confident person in terms of looks, but I would not say I'm a pretty boy. Have you ever been at Seaside or LBI? It's in New Jersey. I don't know. I'm going to New York tomorrow. I actually might go to New Jersey on Sunday, but I've never been to Seaside or LBI. Sounds like a fun place to be. But sure. Do you trade stocks, Forex, or invest? Yes, I invest. I don't actively trade stocks, but I have some funds. I'm not doing very well, but I'm up. I'm positive. Can you talk about the fund vehicle you mentioned? I've never heard of that. It's not something new. It's just me and a couple friends are creating a fund where we're using it to invest together. Random topic. Do you ever see IB other finance sectors fall to IAI? Yeah, Rose, I actually have a video that covers that exact topic. Can I ask you a question in Korea? I'm not going to be in Korea anytime soon, but I assume you can ask you a question in Korean. Yeah, I can answer questions in Korean. Ooh, wow. First time to New York City? No, I've been in New York City 3 times now, maybe 4 times. I love New York City. Weekend trips to New York City are the best. I'm very looking forward to it. I know the city is back. We're going to have to do great. I'm very excited for New York City. If you guys see me in the streets of New York City, give me a little hello. I would love to say hello. I know a lot of people that view my videos are in New York City, unsurprisingly. Any talents outside of the questions related to banking, instruments, drawing, chess? What do we not know about Brian? I like drawing. I wouldn't say I'm like great at drawing, but I think I'm above the average person. I'm a very like above 75% at every skill type of person. but not like the best at anything kind of person. I played clarinet in high school and middle school. I was decent. I could play a little bit of guitar. I could play chords. My singing is dancing, I golf, not great. Tennis, I'm all right. Ping pong, I'm pretty good. Pool, I'm pretty good. Any other weird skills? I'm very good at hula hooping. That's about it. I don't have any like weird, obscure skills. I can whistle pretty well. Do you think it's a good to learn coding? Yeah, coding is always good. Everyone needs to learn coding. Coding is good. Lol, I imagine I see you here. Yes, New York is the best. Skincare routine. Lol. Michael, I made a video. I know that many of you guys know I don't have a skincare routine. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say besides genetics. I don't have any special lotion that I put on. I don't do like go get my pimples popped every now and then. Like I don't have a skincare routine. I'm sorry. Okay, Squidward clarinet. I'm a little better than Squidward. Thoughts on Mark Zuckerberg, the Zuck. Mark is brilliant, and I think he's great. I think he's just he's a brilliant coder, platform creator, entrepreneur. I think he's getting a lot of bad spotlight for a lot of things. I don't think he means bad, but he's a smart guy. I mean, who am I to judge Mark Zuckerberg? How do you think the Fed interest rates will affect the M&A market? There's been insane dry powder, insane trades, insane multiples recently. I would assume there's going to be some kind of control, at least if the Democrats follow through with what they've been saying about interest rates. But who knows? There's always he said, she says. How do you think the Fed interest rates will affect? Oh, sorry, I just read that. Target school highest grades versus internship. Internship, for sure. Favorite NYC bank office. I've only been to the city, New York City bank office, and it was fine. It was like a huge tower. It was under construction, but I don't know many of the New York City bank offices. I'm going to New York City tomorrow though, just for fun. Do you think a good portion of CEOs are sociopaths? I don't want to say that, but I think many successful people won't stop at anything to become successful, and that a part of that might be using people for their benefit, if that's your question. Most interesting internship to do during college. If that's like a genuine question of like what is truly the most interesting, I would do something like insane, like go abroad and go live in a tent somewhere and help the locals, or learn how to cook and be like a skydiving instructor or something. Do you think doing a VC fellowship would boost your resume? Yes. I don't know how it would hurt your resume. I think if you have venture capital experience when you're young, it's great. How are you enjoying startup culture? I love startup culture. It's very self-driven. You can kind of do whatever you want in terms of having your projects come to light. I think it's very for me. It fits me very well. Are equity research positions front or mid office? I think it depends on the bank. I don't really know much about ER. I would say they're closer to front office, right? How did you deal with office politics at IB? I didn't. No, I think you kind of fall into it. I think I'm someone that's relatively good at talking and networking and being good with people, but I also tended to not like kiss ass just for the purposes of kissing assing. I think office politics is important. You should always follow the system. There's a system, but also don't become that guy. I don't want to become that guy. What did you do outside of academics in college? I was an RA starting sophomore year. Best decision of my life. I always tell people if it paid and if it was possible, I would be an RA for life. I was in a leadership development program. I was in a student consulting program. I was in a volunteer leadership program and I was tutoring at a elementary school and a high school. I was in a fraternity, and those are probably my major things. How would you go about creating a model? Like a financial model? Open up an Excel document, sometimes leverage previous models that have similar industry backgrounds, and then go from top to bottom line. Thoughts on WSP? Do you mean like Wall Street Prep? I've never used those, but I've heard mixed things. I mean, if you pay for it, like I'm a big believer in free resources, but I'm sure there's a reason why it's well developed, well known, and people use it. Do you have plans to return to Korea one day? By return, you mean like permanently settle? Probably not. Return as in visit, of course. I know that starting July 1st, that Korea is getting rid of their quarantine for vaccinated individuals, but you still have to do like all these family forms and stuff. I think I'm going to wait for all that to go away. I actually also recently visited relatively in April of 2019, so would love to go back to the motherland. Would love to work there sometime, but probably not settle permanently. An M&A model for 2 public companies using only public info. How to practice. I'm not really sure what that means, but public comps is usually templated, and yeah, I think it's usually like the bank has a leverage model that you use. Someone about to start an FP&A job is making the move to IB or valuation possible later down the line. FP&A is more about internal projections. I think you could definitely make the case that financial engineering and understanding accounting statements is essential. But as I said before, banking is all about barrier to entry in the beginning. And that's more about being a target school and networking, much less than right out of undergrad experiences, in my opinion. What's the most transferable skill that you gain from banking to your startup company? Grit, I would say. Not stopping and being okay with leading processes on my own. What do you mean by return? He grew up in the U.S. Well, Jason, I actually technically, I guess, grew up in Korea in the sense that I was there from birth to age 6. So I guess it would be a return if I return. But so I think I answered your question. I would like to work there someday. I would love to visit in the future. I will visit in the future, but I don't think I would make a full-on return, as in live there for life. I think I am more than satisfied, and I'm well Americanized to the sense that I like being in the United States. Hope that cleared the answer. Yes, I hope that cleared the answer too. About 8 more minutes. Wow, today flew by. So many fun questions today. But Kwang Hyun Jung asks, do you recommend MBA or only recommend T20? I would recommend T7. I think you should higher your chances as much as you can. Do you think college is valuable to only majority of people, specifically in reference to debt crisis? I think I've read a lot of studies that say, especially through the pandemic, people are realizing that college may not be the best investment, and many colleges are going to fail financially because not enough students are applying, not enough students are being admitted. I think there's going to be a lot of changes in terms of labor structure towards skilled labor in terms of like coding, data science, that you don't really need a college degree for. But given that most people in power are college-educated folks and people like that, people of those nature value having similar backgrounds and roles, I think it's not something that's going to go away. It might change in terms of how it's offered and the popularity at which it's participated in, but we shall see. Wow, the party's over soon. Yeah, my neck's going to go away. I'm losing my voice. Only an hour a day. Sorry, guys. Go to Subway sandwich. I'm a pretty classic BLT on Italian. Do you recommend taking the CFA level 1 while at uni? Yeah, if you have time, do as many certifications and tests as you can. I didn't, but if you're interested in finance, why not? What do you love the most deeply? Don't cop out with food. What do you love the most deeply? I really was going to say food and people. I think I'm a very people person. I love people. I love people for who they are. As in, there are people I don't like, but I'm saying I like people as a whole, like humanity. I'm thinking about going to IB briefly as a stepping stone. What kinds of companies, industries directly hire entry-level investment bankers most frequently in your experience? PE. Have you watched the college scandal documentary on Netflix? I'm avoiding watching because I think it's going to piss me off, but I know a lot about it. I didn't watch it yet, though. How would you differentiate corporate banking and investment banking? I have trouble with differentiating the two, or the two pretty much the same. They're very different. They're very different, but I don't know what corporate banking is, but I know for a fact that they're different. I know it's a terrible answer, but I know that they're different. What do you think about commodity trading as a career? I know many commodity traders. But most commodity traders, ironically, are bankers now. I think it takes a specific person. I also know that trading is going towards the software engineering route, and take that for whatever it means. How much do you have in terms of assets? That's an awfully personal question, George. I think I have enough, but it's still growing, and I need to grow more. Make sure you spend at least 5 minutes walking around New York City while listening to 21 Questions by 50 Cent. Life-changing. I did almost every day living there. Actually, you know what? I'll take that advice. I'll do that. I'll listen to 21 Questions by 50 Cent. I love New York. Do you invest in stocks? I do. If so, would you say your banking experience is helping a lot? No, it's helping zero. My investment banking experience has nothing to do with stock investing. What do you think of Coursera courses? I don't know anything about Coursera courses. Companies not really care about that. Oh, is this like a certification thing? I don't think I've ever had an experience where even on the hiring side saw like, oh, this person has qualifications or certificates from these things that makes them a better candidate. I think it's all about professional experience. Favorite place to go on holiday? Favorite place to go on holiday? I'm not the biggest like nature-y person. I would not say like, oh, Grand Canyon or like Zion Canyon. I'm more of like a go to hotel and chill kind of guy. I would say my favorite experience on a holiday in my life has probably been Cancun or North Carolina with my friends a couple weeks ago, where we just chilled at a beach house and just relaxed. I hate like having to constantly do things. I like staycations. I think that's the term for it. Given inflation, what do you think will be enough to retire on by 2050? $4 billion. I don't know. We'll see. What's the first thing you're going to eat when you get to New York City? Joe's Pizza, baby. Thoughts on corporate development as a career and an exit opportunity from IB? I've heard good things. I think it's good for people that want to go internally and enjoy the M&A sides of things. Favorite TV show? Oof. Right now, I've been watching Prison Playlist. It's a Korean show about prison life. But as a whole on Netflix, I think Queen's Gambit's the best show, hands down. Why did you choose to work at big tech? I kind of wanted to like learn how to build a company from the ground up and position myself in a way. Do you know much about leverage acquisition financing? I don't know anything about that. Sorry, Patrick. Thoughts on cryptocurrency short-term trading? Why not if you can make money, but it's dangerous. People like assets go down by like 50% a day. Yeah, Cancun's great. Yeah, Cancun is awesome, guys. Just go to like an all paid for resort. It's phenomenal. Where do you see yourself retiring at? Probably Southern California. I'm a big SoCal guy. Do you watch Billions? I do. I actually stopped watching after season 2. I should probably pick it back up, but yes. Don't miss out on a New York chopped cheese. Heard they're fire as New York chopped cheese. I'll look into it. I don't know chopped cheese was a thing. That sounds good. MBB or IB? Depends on what you want to do. Queen's Gambit is so good. Yes, Queen's Gambit. Oh my, Anya Taylor-Joy in that. How does she act like that? Queen's Gambit is phenomenal. Everyone, if you haven't watched it, great miniseries, 7 episodes. I finished it in 2 days. Go watch it. Great TV show. Crunch, Wrap, Supreme, or Cheesy Gordita Crunch? The most important question of the day. Crunch, Wrap, Supreme, or Cheesy Gordita Crunch? Definitely Crunch, Wrap, Supreme. Hands down. Dream car. Right now, probably a fully decked out. That's a hard question. I'm a big fan of American cars. Maybe like a Challenger, but like fully decked out. That was my first car, but I want it like fully optioned out. I'm looking to get a Cybertruck in December, but that's not necessarily my dream car. Do you trade options? No, I'm not smart enough, and I'm too scared to trade options. I'm sad that you didn't choose Kia or Hyundai as my dream car. I mean, that's Kia or Hyundai aren't necessarily, I think, in the dream car category. They're great cars, but I don't think they're dream cars. Yeah, as I said before, I think my dream car would be a fully decked out sports car in the American variety. Chopped cheese is like a chopped up burger. Oh, with melted cheddar. Okay, fried peppers and onions and a roll. It sounds like a vomited out burger. That sounds really good. They're on an everything bagel. Oh, that sounds good. Chopped cheese, basically chopped hamburger with cheese. Yeah, it's literally chopped from a bodega. Okay, I'll literally get it tomorrow when I land. That sounds great. So it's like a New York specialty. I guess I'll get that before Joe's Pizza. Porsche Cayenne. Yeah, Porsches are nice, but like I think it's more of a adult car. I kind of want to drive one like boy car before I get too old. Ford GT, sure. G-Wagon or Lamborghini, too expensive. Do you think LinkedIn Premium is worth it? I've never done LinkedIn Premium. I'm shocked people pay for LinkedIn Premium. What does that get you again? I don't remember. I mean, go for it if you have the spare change, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm doing a brief 5 to 10 minute market update tomorrow morning via my division at a private bank via Zoom. Oh my gosh, Donis, you should go work on that right now. You shouldn't be on this. Bye, Brian. Thank you. Bye, Teddy. Donis, I don't know. I don't want to screw you over. talk about multiples, talk about recent deals, and talk about where the industry is headed overall. No one knows and you can't predict the market. Get both, I wish. Salary difference between IB and management consulting year one. Salary, it's probably the same, like 85, 90, but then the bonus IB is way higher. Yeah, it's New York City specialty, right up with bacon, egg, and cheese. Okay, I'll try both. Hope your voice comes back. How's the flight? Oh, thanks, Siobhan. All right, guys, thanks for joining, everyone. As always, I am truly living for these live streams. I freaking love live streaming. I will see you guys back next Wednesday. If you guys are in New York and happen to see me across the street, come run up and say hello. I am in New York from tomorrow. Thanks, everyone, always, and I will see you guys next time. Good night.